This is Tiger Cats postgame on the Ticats Audio Network.
Tiger Cats postgame, and a big fat W for the black and gold. They beat Toronto 34-27. Rick Zamperin with Andy Fantuz. Wow, what a game.
What a game, and what an impressive play by all three phases of the game. That's what Coach O talks about, complementary football.
Yeah.
They were able to overcome the large amount of penalties they took, the undisciplined play they took, but the play on the field, the game plan, the execution, other than the penalties, was excellent throughout.
Well, you mentioned penalties, and I think both teams really did not do themselves any justice in terms of helping themselves. Hamilton had 14 penalties for 116 yards. Toronto 11 for 132. I think the story of this game, though, is that third quarter and the fourth quarter, because the third, nothing really happened. Each team had a field goal. Fourth quarter, Ticats dominated. They outscored Toronto 20-6. Finally, a second half resurgence in production from this team.
Yeah, you haven't seen that all season long, and to go 20-6 in the second half, 17-3 in the fourth quarter, it's really a positive when you're looking at the future of this season with this team. And I agree with Luke. It just felt different this game. It just was a whole different vibe, but I liked what I saw. I liked the energy and the sense of urgency, and just everybody making plays. I really enjoyed watching this game. It was a great match and a great team win.
Still to come on Tiger Cats postgame. We're going to head down to the Ticats locker room in a few minutes and chat with Coach Orlando Steinauer, a player as well. We'll have our performer of the game. Let's recap your CarStar 3 keys of the game, and we'll start with the first one: balanced offense.
Yeah, and balanced offense is a big check for me. They had a lot of rushing yards. Let me see here.
Huge amount of rushing yards.
Yeah. So they went out and they had 149 rushing yards, 180 passing yards, and these are with different people running the ball. They had 5 receivers with multiple targets, which is what they're looking to see.
Yep.
They started the game with some lateral movement, short passes on the first play with a scrape, a flat to the short side, and then a long throw to the sideline on the second side, and that just continued throughout the game. They brought in Jamie Newman for multiple rushes for 57 rushes for 55 yards. Some huge chunk plays because Matthew Shiltz went down, so they had to come in and deal with some adversity, and they did a fantastic job of just keeping to mix it up and keeping that defense guessing, sprinkling some Don Jackson in there, getting the youngster Keandre Smith a lot of love. I think that guy is just having a heck of a year whenever he gets called upon. So I want to see some more of him. Definitely a check mark for balanced offense.
Absolutely. They had 5 different ball carriers, 5 different receivers. Schultz didn't play the third quarter. Newman didn't do any damage in terms of the statistical category, but didn't make mistakes. So, yeah, big check mark there. Stopped the run, and they got a little bit of help because Andrew Harris went down early in this game. But even when he was on the field, he wasn't really that effective.
No, they did a good job of bottling him up. He did have one big chunk yard of a 12-yard carry, but then his other 2 carries were a total of 7 yards, which for him is on the low end. And throughout the game, there were 16 rush attempts for only 69 yards. So that's another big check mark, making this team throw the ball. They had 37 pass attempts, and like we talked about, we like our chances with this Hamilton secondary and linebacker crew against any receiving core in this league. So you stop the run, make sure they don't get any easy first downs, and take your chances in the air. And they did a great job of that, and were able to come up with some big plays when it mattered.
The last of your 3 CarStar 3 keys to the game was win the turnover battle. Again, Ticats didn't. In fact, Toronto not only won it, they scored 7 points off their 1 turnover. How did the Ticats, recap and come back from this kind of adversity?
Yeah, they just get...
Because that was an early INT, and it was like, okay, here we go again.
I know, but the Ticats did have that one pick that got overturned from a challenge. questionable at best, but regardless, it is what it is. So, there wasn't that many opportunities. I didn't think McLeod Bethel-Thompson really took too many chances in tight coverage. So I didn't see a lot of missed opportunities necessarily for the Ticats. You can't pull something out of thin air. So that one pick was the one interception for the Ticats was a, like you said, 7 points at a bad time in the game, right when there was some momentum going. But they were able to hold on to the football for the rest of the game, and you include some spark plays from the special teams. Overall, it's okay, but they didn't win the turnover battle, so it's not a check mark on that one.
You mentioned special teams. It's early in the fourth quarter, 2.5 minutes in. Toronto's up 24-17. Lawrence Woods with an electrifying 87-yard punt return for a touchdown, but hold the fort, a holding penalty on Micah Johnson, in which he really didn't have to do what he did.
Yeah, another strange call. I guess he was holding him a bit, but he kind of got pushed from behind, and all three players sort of fell. It was one of those strange plays that another 50-50 call, if you want to call it that, going against the Ticats. So certainly not in their favor tonight. Montreal did have a lot of penalties, but so regardless, lots of infractions in the game. But even without that 85-yarder. Lawrence Woods, he had 6 punt returns for 153 yards.
Yeah, pretty special.
And when it mattered the most, just some spark runs, just some kind of sneaking through some tackles and creating good field position when it mattered the most. So 25.5-yard punt average, a 23-yard kickoff average. What a game for Lawrence Woods. And really in that whole special teams unit to bounce back from last week, the couple mistakes they made, most importantly that block punt for a touchdown, and then a few mental errors, but to come back and really dominate on the coverage team, on the return team, field goal team, it was outstanding to see from that group.
Just a reminder, if you have a question for CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie, send us an email, gameday@ticats.ca. And we could ask it when Bubba O'Neill on the CFL This Week interviews the commish on the Ticats audio network. Rick Zamperin in for Bubba O'Neill. Pleased to be joined by Luke Tasker, joining us here in our broadcast location on the 4th floor of Tim Hortons Field. That was quite the game.
Yeah.
Playoff-type atmosphere.
You're right. Back and forth. Big plays made right down to the end, right through the fourth quarter, and also, the energy and both teams their engines were revving. The tempers were high, and we saw a lot. It was just a fun game to watch, and it was just very different for the Ticats. The Ticats have been plagued by really great production for a series, and then a long stretch of these games where it's been quiet and no rhythm to be found, and ups and downs with the injuries, of course, but really solid team effort all around. It took all 3 phases to make that happen, and I was particularly impressed with the offense and the special teams in the fourth quarter and the impact that they have, the ability to make that long field goal, the ability to score a touchdown on the ground. Great to see.
When you look at Matt Shiltz's final stats, 14 of 19, 176 passing yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, the big 60-yard TD, how would you rate his performance? He wasn't asked to do a lot, and he made the one big mistake, but overall, how would you grade that performance?
I grade him out pretty good, and of course he played 3 quarters of the game too, right? So he had kind of a strange ghost injury there, and was off the field for the third quarter. I think he did as good as you'd expect him to do, or as good as you'd want him to do. I think he led the team great. He showed poise, and that mistake early on, and it's a little bit strange, right? It's not your classic pick six, right? It's that quick interception, from a box player. But no less a mistake from the quarterback. But to just bounce back and keep a cool head after that, and not let that mistake compound itself into more mistakes. I thought he stood in the pocket a few times and threw in that intermediate range. We saw a curl and a comeback to Stephen Dunbar on 2 occasions that I just thought were really well-thrown balls. I'm going to say that Matt Shiltz played a pretty good football game.
I agree completely. He even made some nice throws to the wide side of the field that were you could look at them as dangerous throws, but just on point. He had a couple drops even in this game, so 14 and 19 could have been 16 and 19 or even better. And like you said, that one interception was just a heck of a play by the defensive lineman to tip it and pick it, because it looked like the receiver had lots of space and it was the right decision and all that. It was just amazing individual effort. So I think he played excellent tonight.
In terms of the defense, they give up 27 points, which you try to give a lot less than that. I thought they played electric though. Like, they were all over the place, active. Got to McLeod, Bethel Thompson. I think full marks for the defense tonight.
I agree, and some of those points go to the Toronto defense. Got the touchdown as well. But I mean, I thought there was huge plays all around. Some really great receptions by the Argonaut receiving corps too. Daniels had a great game tonight with McLeod, Bethel Thompson, but I think you're seeing an aggressive Ticat defense as the season progresses. Mark Washington was dialing up blitzes, tight coverage. I thought you saw your pass breakups tonight, and what could have been a Ciante Evans interception, which I think was somewhat questionable as far as the pass interference call goes. And you got your big guys, Micah Johnson, Simone Lawrence, and they were adding pressure and making plays. Yeah,
those are the two on my list that really stood out in a refreshing way. Micah Johnson, those two massive sacks at clutch times, and Simone just seemed to be flying out of nowhere, knifing for those tackles when it was second and medium to long, and it was at that range where about 3 more yards to gain, and it looked like the ball carrier was going to get it, and Simone would come out of nowhere and make a tremendous tackle. So great games there. He seemed like he went out but came back, and so hopefully he's all right. And
Simone and Matt Shiltz off the field for an injury and back on and performing at a high level. I mean, just gutsy finishes there.
Yeah, you got to give them credit too. I know the Argonauts tried to feed the ball to Brandon Banks, 8 attempts to him, but only 2 catches. So the Ticats did a great job bottling him up, and Jagarrett Davis as well, only 1 tackle. So the homecoming for those guys a little bit spoiled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go downstairs to the Ticats locker room. Exclusive access to the coaching room. Time to check in with Coach O, presented by Access Storage. Coach Orlando Steinauer, you're a winner once again here in the Canadian Football League, and a big win at that, 34-27 over Toronto. Just your synopsis on what you saw tonight.
Just so super proud of our ball club. We found a way to win. Again, we're hitting with big doses of adversity in all 3 phases, and all they did, along with the coaches, was find a way.
Coach, at the end of the first half, emotions must have been running really high with a number of calls kind of could have went either way going against the Ticats in a row. What was the message in the locker room and to keep those emotions from affecting you in the second half?
Controllable factors. Controllable factors was the message. And I just let them know we keep putting things into the referee's hands. They're only going to be right 50% of the time. So let's control what we can control and just play ball. Let's not win arguments. Let's not worry about the last play. Let's worry about the next play and just play. That's what I told them.
Is that the furthest you've ever thrown a challenge flag?
I don't know, but I don't know.
Coach, could this be a win that vaults you into a different kind of team in terms of wins and losses? It's been a struggle in this first half, but a win like this against this opponent, could it be that launching pad that you're hoping to see?
We'll see. Don't have a crystal ball. We're taking it one game at a time, and that's just the outlook. I mean, yeah, you would like to think that the last win was the springboard, right? But all we're trying to focus on, want everybody to enjoy this and be happy. But the key word here is not satisfied. So after this, we're just looking for the next win.
Coach, Luke here, and you and I have talked about second halves for the last 11 weeks of the CFL season. Talk to me about this fourth quarter, this second half, and how your team performed at such a high level.
Well, we just found a way, and that was it, Luke. I know that's a general statement, but we had some key stops. We got to the quarterback. We may not have sacked him, but we did pressure him. And the offense got some key first downs, and also moved the ball there late to get a field goal. So, those things just kind of happen naturally. Remember we talked on the show earlier about 3 phases of that's how you finish. It's not just one phase. It's not the defense. It's all 3 phases. So, just proud of them.
Coach, you must be happy with the response in the special teams unit. You had a better average in both punt returns and kick returns, but particularly your punt coverage team and your punt return team just really giving you an edge every single time that unit went on the field tonight versus last week, obviously coming up short in a couple big time moments in the game.
Yeah, they definitely helped us with field position, and field position and momentum usually equal points. And we had the one blow on the punt return there, but I thought that our response mentally, not just physically, but mentally, which is stuff that nobody wouldn't see, right? They're just going to see the tangible things. But I just thought our response was fantastic. We need to play cleaner. Definitely disappointed in the penalties, but I'm not going to complain about winning.
Yeah, we don't want to get you fined either. This was a playoff atmosphere. How big were the fans tonight? Because I thought they brought it.
They did bring it, and credit to them. Ticat Nation was awesome, and they stood up at the right times. And they also eased up when we weren't playing our best ball, right? We didn't hear boos. We didn't hear negative comments. And they could have turned, but I thought that they stayed with us the whole night.
Coach, appreciate the time. Congratulations on the win. We'll talk to you next week.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's head coach Orlando Steinauer. That's exclusive access to the coaching room brought to you by Access Storage. Joining us on the Tiger Cats postgame, Courtney Stephen has made an appearance. How are you, number 22?
I'm living large. I feel great. When the team goes out and puts out a performance like that and they don't leave it to the dying seconds for you to wonder if they're going to pull it out, that's all you can ask for.
How big was this second half, guys? Because all season long it's been, what's going on here?
Yeah, wasn't it different when it was tied there in the fourth quarter? It wasn't we had the lead, you could feel the momentum changing, they're crawling back. It's like now you're on the other side, kind of crawling back, getting the momentum, getting the tie, and then getting a big stop, another nice return, good field position. How much different was this feeling in the second half than other games?
Well, I think one of the main things that sticks out to me is that the big play was in favor of the Ticats tonight. And all season long, I don't know if we could say that there was another game where there was multiple explosives for the Ticats. Special teams had some returns that set them up. There was a lot of penalties that actually changed the field position on both sides. But then the deep ball. I thought we saw the deep ball in action for the Ticats, and that was exciting. That's what the fans love to see. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, I think that's what really cracked this game open.
And Andy, you get the long run for the touchdown there for Sean Thomas Erlington, which followed up, the long run by Jamie Newman moving down the field. You're right, Courtney, just all kinds of big plays, in the Ticats' advantage. And yeah, that fourth quarter, that second half, the whole thing was sort of a fresh start for the Ticats, and right at the midpoint of the season.
Let's go around the horn here. We'll start with Andy. Coach said they found a way to win. This was a big game, rivalry game, coming off a loss in which they thought they had a W. When you find a way to win the way they did, is that a rocket on your back to say, all right, we're on the right path here?
You would think yes.
Maybe simplifying
I automatically say yes, unless I just listened to Coach O's answer, and he said, I would have thought that last time we won. But you're looking down on the sideline, and you can see the players, the energy throughout the game, both players that are dressed and players who weren't dressed, really into the game, really engaged, really invested emotionally, and that's what you love to see. That's like the sign of this team is coming together as a family. They really care about each other. They really care about what's going on, and it shows on the field. So I think that a win like this is kind of like a springboard to future success, and they control it because they have Montreal and then Argos twice in a row, and that really could define so many things in this season.
Courtney, this is going to be a huge confidence boost for this team.
Absolutely, and especially putting Matt Shiltz in there, him throwing for over 70%. And I don't think it's always about the gaudy numbers of 400, 500 yards and 6 touchdowns, but it's about winning the game. And when you touch the ball on every play, no one else has a bigger impact other than the quarterback. So for him, it's a hats off to being prepared and putting the team in a position to capitalize, and they definitely did that. They capitalized.
So, Luke, if you're the head coach of this team, is Shiltz your starter for next game if Dane Evans is healthy?
Boy, that is a tough question, and we'll see. And also, now you have the question of, is Matt Shiltz healthy too? So, because we don't exactly know what happened in the third quarter there, but I certainly think Shiltz has to stay an important part of the offense. If Dane comes back healthy, that's great. He's a great player, but let Matt Shiltz continue to have an impact as well. And I'll say, for this game and sort of being a springboard into the rest of the season, it's that age-old, is it the chicken or the egg with success and confidence? Yeah. And who knows which comes first, but if once one starts to happen, they snowball affect each other. And with this success that they had tonight, certainly, and specifically in areas of the game where they've lagged, in weeks past, that builds and and you gain confidence, and it becomes easier to have those same successes repeated. It becomes easier to come back from behind or to come back from your own mistakes when you've already done that successfully to a win. So, yeah, this kind of game makes a big difference moving forward.
And the opposite is true too. When things are not going right, it seems like, okay, how do we get in front of this thing?
Oh yeah,
right?
Oh yeah, it can start slipping away, and you can. I think that people tend to think this is just maybe not a real part of sports, but I think that the three of us up here would agree that you on a team you can learn how to lose, and it can become a habit the same way that winning is. So that starts to snowball in one direction or another, and this team has done a great job of battling back after these games that haven't gone their way to get one like tonight that potentially starts pushing that snowball in a different direction. Special
teams doesn't get enough love on a football team, but tonight the Ticats special team was exceptional.
And Seth Small, 4 for 4.
Wow.
I mean, when's the last time we
Nine straight,
yeah. When's the last time we talked about the Ticats kicker in the brightest of lights?
Yeah.
Right. So it's great to see that corner being turned, and you'd hope it continues.
Yeah, I was loving the cover team tonight. You'd have one guy flying in trying to take the big hit, but if they missed, the returner had to slow down enough for the next guy in just to make almost as big of a hit. And you just saw that time and time again, just completely smothering. And then we already kind of discussed Lawrence Woods and his returns. And, of course, it's not just him. You got to give a lot of credit to everybody blocking to him. So a complete win to Craig Butler's unit. And I liked what Coach said about it, the mental response. It wasn't just the physical play, but the mental response from last week. Very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. The coverage units did a phenomenal job on Speedy B back there returning. We saw a net 53-yard punt from Damagala. Ticats have been in last place for their net punt, and there was a couple good examples of them turning that around a little bit. And just Lawrence Woods just had a huge impact on tonight's game, and just such a great thing to see. And this was one of the best examples we've seen of complementary football. All three phases helping each other.
Should we hit the performer of the game then?
You want to do it? Yeah, let's do it. If you're ready, performer of the game presented by Hercules Tire. Ride on our strength. Who do you got?
Well, big surprise, Lawrence Woods. Yeah. So it's 3 kickoffs, 69 yards, so a 23-yard average. But really, it was the punt returns. It was 6 punt returns, 153 yards, 25.5-yard average, and that's not even including the 85-yarder that got called back. So just amazing. Just every time he touched the ball, electric.
All right, let's go down to the Ticats locker room. We have exclusive post-game interview presented by Access Storage with Ticats quarterback Matthew Shiltz. Matt, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Hey, a win is a win is a win. You guys performed exceptionally well tonight. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels amazing. I'm just so proud of the way the guys fought. And, we finished in the second half there. It's something that we put a big emphasis on the last couple of weeks, and just really proud of the way we all fought.
Matt, you kind of went out there in the third quarter. Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Just got a little banged up there, and the trainer just had to take a look, but I was able to get back out there.
Matt, just you're coming in, you're taking over as the starter here this week, and I thought there were some times that you just showed some real veteran poise in the pocket. Can you speak to your budding relationship with a very young receiving core?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the receivers made a heck of a lot of plays, and the O-line was providing enough time to kind of go through the reads, and the back stepped up too in protection. So it really was a team effort. When the receivers are making plays like that in traffic, it definitely helps as a quarterback. So it was a true team effort tonight. And again, just so proud of the way the guys fought.
And we talk about the receivers, but it was the running backs, it was the O-line, special teams, full team win here. How does that support you in coming into this game with your first start of the season?
Oh, it's huge. Going into it, I just really wanted to protect the football. And, unfortunately early on, a defensive end made a great play and was able to get an interception there. But I was just proud of the way the guys fought back and didn't let that play kind of define our night. We were able to bounce back, string some drives together, and end up on top, and that's the biggest thing.
Matt, this was one of those games where you managed to figure out the fourth quarter, one of the big plays in that quarter, that 60-yard bomb to Tim White. Did that develop early for you? Did you see that early on in the play?
A little bit, yeah. We called a play to kind of take advantage of a defense that we were hoping to get in that situation, and we got it, and just got to give the receiver a chance in that play. Tim's a great playmaker, and he was able to go up and get it and score, which is a huge momentum shift for us. So Tim was amazing in that.
Matt, speaking of momentum, at the end of the first half, there were a number of plays that kind of went against the Ticats and a lot of emotions flaring going into halftime, but able to come out in the second half with a completely different look than we've seen so far this season. Did it feel like a different game on the sideline as a player? Did it feel like just the energy in the game was different?
A little bit, and I think that is a little bit with the rivalry too. It was just it's a big game. It's a divisional game at home. Especially for those 2 points in the division, and then on top of it, you're playing the Argos. So, there was a lot of energy on that game, and I'm sure everyone could tell. But I'm glad we kept our composure throughout everything going on, whether it was penalties or some calls that went our way and some calls that didn't go our way, and that's what's going to happen in the game. So you just can't let those little things kind of define your mentality as you move on towards the fourth quarter and you need to finish the game. So I'm just so proud. I keep on going back to it, but just proud of the way the guys fought.
Matt, you came in tonight and took over the starting position. Dane is banged up, couldn't suit up, and then of course you deal with some adversity, and Jamie Newman comes in and does a good job. Can just bring us into your guys' quarterback room. What's your guys' energy and what's your mentality?
Oh my gosh! You hit it on the head. I told Jamie after the game how proud I was of him. I've been in that situation too before. Where the starter goes down out of nowhere, and you got to go in. You got to be a microwave. That's what we kind of talk about in the quarterback room with whoever's playing, and then whoever's in that backup role. You got to go in and play. You don't got time to heat up. You got to be ready at any given snap. Jamie made some huge plays for us, and and made that huge run there towards the end of the game to put us in a situation to punch it in. So I'm so proud of the way Jamie played and stayed ready to go. He's a great kid and has a bright future in this league.
The microwave, I love it.
No need for the defrost button tonight.
Yeah, you just hit that button on the microwave and popcorn's ready. So.
That's right.
Matt, appreciate the time. Congratulations and enjoy the week.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
It's Ticats quarterback Matt Shiltz after a 34-27 victory over the arch-rival Toronto Argonauts. Final thoughts, Andy, to you?
Balanced offense. We talked about it. We saw it. I love it. Just got to clean up the turnovers, but I love the spreading the love around, or spreading the ball around, get everyone involved. Hey, you could say balanced defense, balanced special teams, but we talked about balanced offense and we saw it. Great to see.
Big second half for the Tiger Cats. They come out on top 34-27. Big thanks to Andy Fantuz, Courtney Stephen, Luke Tasker, and thank you for listening to Tiger Cats postgame. Bubba O'Neill and the gang will be back next Saturday afternoon at 3 when the Tiger Cats head to Montreal to face the Alouettes, with Tiger Cats pregame presented by Journey Rewards on the Ticats Audio Network.